All right, hey everyone, it's Moon here. I'd like to share with you some thoughts on the concept of exclusion versus the concept of merit. Um, and this is a conversation I'd like to have based on a comment in a thread in a private group with my fraternity. Not going to get into details about the name of the social media group or the social media outlet on which this group is located, but we're having a conversation within the fraternity about how people obtain membership within my fraternity. And the fraternity is Iota Phi Theta. Shout out to all my fraternity brothers. So the question was posed basically, why was hazing ever a thing, and why hasn't it stopped being a thing like years ago? Why is it a conversation that fraternities and sororities and other entities in the US are still having about people being hazed in order to obtain membership? Now, remember, we're having this conversation about exclusion versus merit. So we see this concept apply to more than just hazing. We see it in a lot of different places as far as people wanting someone to earn something versus just having it handed to them. And what we're doing there is we're excluding the people who we presume haven't earned it or have yet to earn it, versus allowing a situation based on merit. And I think instantly about the conversation about college being free. It's been, pushed by some of the more liberal-leaning American politicians like Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren, and some others as well, that they would like to see college programs become free for Americans. And there's a lot of pushback, and you hear especially people who have degrees saying, oh, well, I had to work to earn mine and I had to pay for mine. Why should they get it any different? They should have to work for theirs too. So it's not about the merit. It's not about whether or not someone is capable of academically doing the work for which they should earn a collegiate degree. It's about, did they put in the work to earn it? Did they pay for it? They are excluded. They, regardless of their merits, they are excluded from this until they can earn it. In order to help me make this analogy, I'm going to turn to a craft that is very near and dear to my heart, which is lifeguarding. I first became a lifeguard in 1999. So I've been, doing this for a long time outside of teaching and whatnot. And this device that you see pictured here behind me, this is called a rescue tube. The rescue tube was invented during the 20th century, early in the 20th century. Been refined and revised. The current iteration of the rescue tube can be dated back to 1964. And lifeguard training programs began talking about it, as it evolved into what it became in 1964 and beyond. The American Red Cross did not require the use of a rescue tube for rescues until 1994. 1995. It was January of one of those years. I had to have conversations with a lot of other Red Cross instructors and certified lifeguards to figure out, people that have been around the game longer than I have, to figure out when that was. And there was, some confusion, not an exact idea, but there was a general consensus. It was either 1994 or 1995, and one person recalled that it was the month of January when Red Cross first announced that moving forward, all rescues will involve the use of a rescue tube. Now, there are a lot of lifeguards that were around when this happened that they didn't like it. The data had proven statistically, by the time Red Cross said this is mandatory, the data had proven that outcomes are better for drowning victims when the lifeguards executing the rescues are using a rescue tube. The data said that 100%. The outcomes for the victims are better in this situation. That is why we are going to make this mandatory. Well, a lot of lifeguards that could successfully accomplish great rescues without the use of a rescue tube, they didn't like that. It makes it too easy. We want to exclude potential lifeguards. We want to exclude lifeguard candidates who cannot make rescues without this device, without this assistance, without a floaty. If you need a floaty to make a rescue, you're not one of us. You don't belong here. If you have a loved one that is drowning and a kid that does not swim well enough to be a competitive swimmer can save their life with the use of a rescue tube, do they merit the title lifeguard? Do they deserve to have that title written behind their name? If they can save that life of your loved one, they deserve that. They've proven that they merit that title. Napoleon Bonaparte said it's better to merit a scepter than to possess one. He was talking about positions of leadership there, but it's better to demonstrate that you are worthy of that position of honor than to just have that position of honor. So prior to the rescue tube being a mandatory element in Red Cross lifeguarding, lifeguards were the best swimmers on their respective swim teams or in their respective swim clubs. The lifeguards were the best ones there because they needed to be that in order to be able to accomplish the task before them. And there was a fellowship and a sense of belonging, and anyone who could not do it was excluded. You cannot have this title because you cannot do what we can do. With the introduction of the rescue tube, it is now a regular thing. I train lifeguards that would not even place in a USA swimming swim meet, a junior Olympic swim meet, an Olympic swim meet, would not even place, would not even qualify to be there. Without the use of a rescue tube, many of them would not be able to make a rescue in water too deep for them to stand up. So now we have to decide what is more important, that sense of belonging, excluding people who haven't earned it, or is it more important that we find people who are capable of performing the task with the equipment that is available in order to improve outcomes for victims? So what is more important to us as a community of lifeguards? Is it more important that we improve the outcomes for drowning victims? Or is it more important that we get to say, I'm a lifeguard, and the fact that I have the title lifeguard behind my name proves that I'm a better swimmer than people who don't have this title? In our respective fraternities and sororities, what is more important? Is it more important to exclude the people who have not been through the process of earning the right to wear the letters that we wear, the Greek letters that we wear? Or is it more important to recruit and retain individuals that can help our organizations meet our intended goals? Not gonna lie, it stings for me personally a little bit to say that because I don't want to get into it, but there was an element of physicality behind my intake process, and I actually enjoyed it. I enjoyed every minute of that. Not saying I was hazed. I do not feel like I was hazed, but there was an element of physicality. But what is more important? Is it more important to me today that every other person I see wearing brown and gold that says iota phi theta across their chest, is it more important to know that they earned the right to wear those letters the same way I did? Or is it more important to me that my fraternity is successful at meeting its mission and purposes? Is it more important that the next generation of teachers that comes on behind me, I had to, I graduated from high school in 1997. I didn't get my college degree until 2005 because I had to take classes this semester and then next semester not take any classes because I had to work to save up money so I could go back the semester following. So it took me from 1997 until 2005 to get my undergrad degree, my bachelor's degree. Is it more important to me that the next generation of teachers had to prove themselves capable of making it through that financial struggle in order to obtain their degree and their teaching license? Or is it more important that the profession of teaching find high school graduates that have the desire to teach and put them in a position where they can do so? The desire and ability to teach and teach well and put them in a position where they can do so. In lifeguarding, to go back to that, it is 100% more important to have the better outcomes for the victims. Once upon a time, if someone said they were a lifeguard, you could rest assured they could swim, like really swim. These were, people that could, if necessary, swim a quarter of a kilometer away from a shore and grab someone across their chest and with one arm and two legs swim and keep that person's head above water and their own head above water with no flotation all the way back to the shore. That is an amazing feat. When I first became a lifeguard, I could not have done that. Do I believe I'm capable of it now? If the water's not too choppy, yes, 100%. After all the years and experience that I've had, I know I can rescue a person without the assistance of a flotation device. When I first became a lifeguard, I could not even pass the prerequisite when the class started. Thank God I was taking a class that was the length of a college semester versus some of these kids now are getting certified in a weekend. They leave school Friday on their way to go to the first session of the class, and by the time they go back to school Monday, they're certified lifeguards. If I was in a class like that, I would not have been able to pass because I wouldn't have been able to pass the prerequisite Friday evening. It took me from the beginning of the marking period until midterms to be able to pass that prerequisite. Then, had I not been in a position where I was allowed that opportunity and had a chance to use this device in order to be able to make saves, I wouldn't be in a position now where I can make saves without it if I need to. And I have trained, literally, there are hundreds of lifeguards that have had my name on their certification, and they have made saves. They have saved your brothers, sisters, children, and continue to be effective at doing so. So what was more important, those outcomes or excluding them from fellowship with a brotherhood that they didn't earn the way people had to earn it before? Anyway, I hope someone can benefit from what I just said. Have a wonderful evening.